Good evening, children. Welcome to Yupp Master, the school foundation program. I'm your chemistry teacher. You know all well, right? So, in the previous classes, we have started discussing about the significant figures, right? So, we have come across the significant figures, and we have also seen some of the rules, how we are going to calculate the number of significant figures in a given number, right? So, today, I think in the previous class we have stopped exactly at the mathematical operation that we are going to carry out in case of a significant figures, right? So, let us today look at the mathematical operations, how we are going to carry out the mathematical operations on the significant figures, and what should be the result, how we have to express the result. There are some rules that are given with respect to the mathematical operations when you carry out on significant figures. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about this mathematical operations on significant figures. Okay, right. In the case of addition and subtraction, when we are dealing with the addition and subtraction on significant figures, how we have to give the result, how we have to carry out the mathematical operation. For suppose we have result, we have the two significant numbers, and we have carried out the addition as well as the subtraction, the mathematical operation on the significant figures, and then we have to give the result. So, the result that is obtained after the addition of the numbers or after the subtraction of the numbers, we cannot have, the result cannot have more digits to the right of the decimal point than either of the original numbers. So, for example, if we have two numbers and we are carrying out the addition process on the two numbers. In that case, after adding the two numbers, the result should not have more number of digits after the decimal point, okay, than either of the number that we have taken. For example, if you are taking three numbers and going for the addition, you have to look at all the three numbers. Look at the number of decimal digits that are present after the decimal point. So, select the number which is having least number of digits after the decimal point. In that case only, in that way only, we have to give the result. Okay. So, the result should not exceed the number of digits after the decimal point than either of the numbers that we are going to take. Whether it is two numbers or three numbers or four numbers or five numbers, if you are carrying out the mathematical operation of addition or the subtraction, the result should contain the same number of digits after the decimal point among the numbers which is having the least value, least number of digits. Okay. So, this point you have to keep it in mind, it is with respect to addition as well as with respect to the subtraction. Okay. So, let us say one example so that you can easily understand how we are going to determine, how we are going to give you the result. For suppose we have 12.10, one number. Okay. So, look at the number of digits that are present after the decimal point. We have 1 and 0. So, we have two digits after the decimal point. So, we have to keep it in mind. Okay, this one. And then second number is 18.0. 18.0 after the decimal point we have 0. So, that can be considered as a significant figure. So, it has one digit after the decimal point. Okay. Look at the third one. We have one more number 1.012. 1.012 after the decimal point, if we observe, we have three significant figures 0, 1 and 2. So, we have three digits after the decimal point. Okay. So, now in one number we have two digits after the decimal point, in another number we have one digit after the decimal point, and third number we have three digits after the decimal point. Okay. So, we are adding three numbers, we are adding these three numbers. And before addition, you have to identify the number of digits present after the decimal point. So, among the three, if we observe, among the three numbers, if we observe, this number, what is that? The 18.0 has only one digit. It has only one digit. So, we have to look at the number which has least number of digits after the decimal point. Okay, we have to choose, or we have to look at that number which has least number of digits after the decimal point. So, among these three numbers, 18.0 has one digit after the decimal point. So, when we carry out the addition for these three numbers, I should give the result. I should give the result such that after decimal point we should have only one digit. Okay. So, that is we have to keep it in mind. Okay. Let us carry out the addition process. let me carry out the addition process. So when you add the numbers, it is 2, 1, 1, 11, 33. Okay, 31.112 is the result. So we are getting the, after adding the three numbers, we are getting the value as this way. So this is the result actually, okay. But the result that is obtained after adding the three numbers, the result that I have obtained has how many digits after the decimal point? This has 3 digits, okay. It has 3 digits after the decimal point, that is 1, 1 and 2. After 31 point, after the decimal point, if you observe, it has 1, 1, 2. But that is not the result actually you have to report. What you have to report? You have to report the result in such a way that which should have the least value among the 3 numbers, which has least number of digits after decimal point. This has the least number of digits. How many digits? 1 digit. So we should report the result, this value, in such a way that after decimal point should have only 1 digit. Okay, I have to remove this 2, I have to remove this 1 also. I have to remove the 1 and 2 from this one so that I can report the value to the only 1 digit after the decimal point. That is the condition for the addition as well as subtraction. Now let us see. The result should be possessed. The result should have only 1 digit after the decimal point. Why? Because here we have a number which has only 1 digit after the decimal point. Now therefore, in order to make this number having only 1 digit after the decimal point, I have to remove. Initially what we got is 31.112 as a result. Okay. So but I have to express the result by keeping only 1 digit after the decimal point. So in that case, what I have to do? I have to remove the 2. So for removing 2, 31.11 will we get, okay, because here we are rounding off the number. There are some rules for rounding the numbers, okay. So here I have to round off this number, so I have to remove the 2. 2, when you observe, 2 is less than 5. So 2 is less than 5, so I can remove it as such, and there is no change in the preceding number. And again here if you observe 31.11, we have 2 digits. But what should be the result? The result should contain only 1 digit after the decimal point. So I have to remove this one also. When 1 is less than 5, so that can be removed without any change in the preceding number. So I can write the 31.112 after rounding off to the required number of digits, it becomes 31.1. So this should be the correct answer, because after decimal point we have only 1 digit in the number, in the result. Okay. So therefore, the result should possess 1 digit after the decimal point. Therefore, what we are doing? 31.112 is rounded, or it is reported as 31.1 by rounding off number mechanism. Okay. How we are going to round off the numbers, we will discuss once we finish this one. Okay. So this is how we are going to carry out the operation, mathematical operation, addition as well as subtraction. Let us take an example with a subtraction. Let us say we have a 3.0123, okay, and we are subtracting, let us say 0.12. I am subtracting 0.12 from 3.0123, okay. So first we have to identify the number of digits present in each number. Now in this case, in the first number, if you observe, how many digits are present after the decimal point? 3.0123. So it has, after decimal point we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So all are counted. So here that number has 4 digits. It has 4 digits after the decimal point. And when you observe the other one, this one has, it is 0.12. Okay. So after decimal point we have 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 can be considered, and therefore after the decimal point we have 2 digits. Okay, the digits I am writing here are the digits which are present after the decimal point. In first number, after the decimal point we have 4 digits. In second number, after the decimal point we have 2 digits. Now, whenever we go for the result, how the result should be? I should express the result such that it should have only 2 digits after the decimal point, because this is the number which has least number of decimal point. So this is number is having least number of decimal points, so I should express the result which is having least number of decimal digits after the decimal point. Right. Let us carry out the subtraction process. So it will be automatically 0. So 3 0 0, 2 minus 0 is 2, 1. we cannot subtract, so I have to borrow. It becomes 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. Okay, so there will be 9. 9 minus 1, it is 8 point, and since we have borrowed, so this becomes 2. 2 minus 0 is 2. So the result that is coming out to be 2.8923. 2.8923 is the result. But how many digits are present in this number? In this particular number, if we observe this number, whatever the value that I have obtained after subtracting 0.12 from 3.0123, if I observe, it has 4 digits after the decimal point. What I am writing, the digits I am writing are after the decimal point. I am not bothering about the digits present before the decimal point. Okay, I am bothering about the digits which are present after the decimal point. So here we have 4 digits after the decimal point. But actually the result should contain how many digits? Result should contain only 2 digits after the decimal point. Okay, so therefore I have to round off the number. I should express the number after removing the 2 digits, so that 2 digits will remain after the decimal point. So in that case if I am going to take as the number is 2.8923. Okay, I have to remove the last number. Okay, I have to remove the last number. I have to remove this number 3. So 3 is less than 5, so we can neglect it, or there is no change in the number before it. Okay, so it becomes 2 point. So we can write it as, sorry, it will be 2.892. Okay, and this number has 3 digits after the decimal point, so I have to remove one more digit from it. So I have to remove the last digit, that is 2. So if I remove this one, it is less than 5, so I can there is no need to change the number before the 2. So therefore we can write the value, or we can report the value as 2.89. So whenever we go for the subtraction, in that case, first of all you have to see the total number of digits which are present after the decimal point. Choose the number which has least number of digits after the decimal point. Okay, so once we get the digit having the least number of decimal digits after the decimal point, result should be given in such way only, which is having the least number of digits after the decimal point. So actually what we are getting is the value as 2.8923, but it has to be reported as 2.89 only. It has to be reported as 2.89 only. Okay, so here why I am giving the value, why I am changing this 2.8923 into 2.89. Whenever we carry out the mathematical operations on significant figures or significant numbers, always when we go for addition and subtraction process, the result must and should contain least number of digits after the decimal point. So it should not more than the number that I have taken. The first number has 4 digits, second number has 2 digits. So you should have only 2 digits after the decimal point in the result. So therefore the result becomes 2.89. So when we are subtracting 0.12 from 3.0123, the result is 2.89. It is not 2.8923. Okay, this is not the result. This is the correct result. That is 2.89 is the correct value for this subtraction process. Okay, I think you got the clear idea with respect to the addition as well as subtraction. Okay, let us move on to the multiplication as well as the division. In the case of multiplication and division, we are going to take one more rule into consideration. So here, whenever we carry out multiplication and division mathematical operation on significant numbers, so when we have two numbers, significant figures, two scientific numbers, and we are multiplying with one another, in that case, whenever we go carry out the multiplication process or maybe the division process, in that case the result must be reported. The result must be reported with no more significant figures as in the measurement, with the few significant figures. So here we are going to consider significant figures. In the case of addition and subtraction, we have looking at the number of digits after the decimal point. So in case of addition and subtraction, we have to look for the number of digits after the decimal point. But when we are looking for multiplication and division, in that case we should look for significant figures. Okay, look at the number. For example, if we have two numbers multiplying with one another, look at the significant figures in the two numbers. Whichever number is having least number of significant figures, the result of that particular multiplication should be given with the same number of significant figures. We should not exceed that value. So the report must be, the result must be reported with no more significant figures as in the measurement with a few significant figures. So whichever number is having least number of significant figures, same number of significant figures should present in the result also. So here we are looking at the significant figures. But in the case of addition and subtraction, when we go for addition and subtraction, what we have to see? In that case, we have to see the digits after the decimal point. Digits after decimal point. Okay, you have to see the digits after decimal point. Okay, but in the case of multiplication as well as division, if you see here in this case, the mathematical operation multiplication and division, if you observe, here we have to consider the significant figures. You have to consider significant figures. Okay, significant figures which are present in the two numbers. So here we are looking at the digits for addition and subtraction. Here we are looking at the significant figures which are present in the two numbers. Here we are taking the number having the least number of digits and we are expressing the result with the same number of digits. Here we are looking at the significant figures present in the two numbers and we have to give the result which is having, with the least number of significant figures than that of the two numbers that we have taken for the multiplication process or the two numbers that we have taken for subtraction, the division process. Okay, right. Let us look at an example so that you can clearly understand. 2.5 into 1.25. So we are going for multiplying 1.25 with 2.5. So when we go for the multiplication of 1.25 with the 2.5, the result is coming out to be 3.125. Result is coming out to be 3.125. Can we give directly the result as 3.125 in this case? No, it is not correct. Okay, this is not the correct way of giving the result. Actually, the number that we are going to get is 3.125. There is no doubt. But we should always look at the significant figures that are present in the two numbers. Here, what is the number that we have taken for the multiplication process? The number that we have taken for the multiplication process, one is 1.25, other is 2.5. So we have the two numbers. This is first number and this is the second number that we have taken for the multiplication. Okay. So the two numbers you have to observe. Look at the two numbers and look at the number of significant figures present in the two numbers. Right. I am looking at first number. First number is 1.25. Okay, 1.25. How many significant figures are present? 2 is a significant figure. 5 is also a significant figure. So it has two significant figures in it. 2.5 has two significant figures. Right. Let us look at the second number, 1.25. In this case, 1.25. 1 is significant, 2 is significant, 5 is significant. All non-zero digits are significant. We have learned in the last week, right? So 1.25, how many significant figures are present? It has three significant figures. So we have three significant figures in the second number. In the first number, we have two significant figures. Which is low? This is the low value, or this is having the lowest number of significant figures. How many significant figures are present? Two significant figures are present. Therefore, we have to report the result which is having only two significant figures. So we should give the result with only two significant figures. Right. The result should therefore possess how many significant figures? Only two significant figures. Therefore, what I have to do? The result actually obtained is 3.125. There is no doubt. This is the value that we are going to get when we are multiplying these two. But this is not the correct way of reporting. It is not the correct way of reporting. Whenever we carry out the mathematical operation multiplication, what we have to do? We have to look the number of significant figures present in the both the numbers, and we have to select the least number of significant figures that are present. And we should express the result with having least number of significant figures only. So in this case, the result should possess two significant figures only. So therefore, what we have to do? We have to report this 3.125 with the two significant figures. So when we go for reporting this number with the two significant figures, the last digit I have to remove. Okay. Here if you observe, it has how many significant figures? the result has 3 is a significant figure, okay, 1 is also a significant figure, 2 is also significant figure, 5 is also a significant figures. So total it has 4 significant figures. But what our result should contain? Our result should contain only 2 significant figures. So I have to remove 2 digits which are present in the end. So first I have to remove the 5. I cannot remove 2 at a time, okay, I have to remove first last digit. Last digit to be removed is 5. So in this case, when the last digit to be removed is 5, we have to look at the preceding number. So here the preceding number is even number, so there is no change. So I can write the value as 3.12 only. But in this number 3.12, how many significant figures are present? We have 3 significant figures, but actually our report should contain 2 significant figures. So therefore what I have to do? I have to remove the last digit, that is 2. So 2, when you observe, 2 is less than 5. 2 is less than 5. So in that case, no need to change the preceding number. So therefore we can write this one as 3.1 only. We can write the number as 3.1 only. So actually the report or the result of multiplication of 2.5 with 1.25 is 3.1 only. It is 3.1 only. It is not 3.125. So this is the wrong way of giving the result, but this is the correct way of giving the result. So in case of multiplication and division, look at the number of significant figures present in each number. Look at the number which is having least number of significant figures. Keep that thing in your mind and go for multiplication. Get the value and then round off that value, result value, such that it should contain least number of significant figures. Actual value that we have obtained is 3.125. But the result should contain only 2 significant figures, since the 2.5 has only 2 significant figures. So in order to convert this one into a number having 2 significant figures, I am removing 5, I am removing 2. When we are removing the 2 and 5, we call it as rounding off numbers. Then the rounding off numbers can be done based on the rules that are given, which we are going to discuss now. So here I am reporting the value as 3.1. So this is the correct value of reporting the result in the case of multiplication. Okay. Let us say one more example. We have 1.5, okay, multiplied by 3.00. 3.00. Okay. So now in this case the value that we are going to get is 4.500. 4.500 is the value. So here if we observe, in first number 1.5, how many significant figures are present? In this case we have 2 significant figures. 1.5 has 2 significant figures. 3.00 has how many significant figures? 3 significant figures. Why? Here the zeros which are present after the decimal point or after the first non-zero digits become significant. So the 2 zeros as well as 1 3. So total 3 significant figures are present. So when you observe which is having the lower value, this is having the lower value. So this is the lowest number of significant figure present in the given 2 numbers. So what we have to do? We have to express the result. We should express the result having only 2 significant figures. But when we go for multiplication, what we are getting? We are getting the value as 4.500. So here if we observe how many significant figures are present, 4 is a significant figure, 5 is also a significant figure, 0 is also a significant figure, other 0 also is a significant figures. So total we have 4 significant figures in this case. But actually is it correct way of representing the result with the 4 significant figures? No. So this is the wrong result. So what we have to do? We have to express the result with having only 2 significant figures. In that case what I have to do? 4.500. So last digit I have to remove. So it is less than 0, so it can be removed. It becomes 4.50. So here the last 0 has to be removed, so it becomes 4.5. So 4.5 is the way of representing the result. So it is 4.5 is the correct way of representing, and moreover if you observe here, it has 2 significant figures. So 2 significant figures are present in 4.5. So the value 1.5 into 3.00 is 4.5 only. Okay, so we have to report the multiplication result or the division result such that it should have the least number of significant figures. It should have least number of significant figures. Okay. So, by keeping these things in your mind, we can carry out all the mathematical operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Addition and subtraction, we are going to look at only the digits. Okay. But in the case of multiplication and division, we have to care about the significant figures. Okay. So, here if I take the addition and subtraction, as I am repeating again, so it is to very important. Okay, in case of addition as well as subtraction, we have to look at the digits in the given numbers. Okay, but when we are looking for multiplication as well as division, so when we are looking at multiplication and division, in that case we should have how many things to be taken? Here we have to take the significant figures into consideration. Okay, so we should take significant figures into consideration. By taking the significant figures into consideration, we can carry out the mathematical operation, then we can give the result whether it is addition and subtraction or it is multiplication or division. Okay, so right, let us move on to the rounding off number. How I have done the rounding off numbers in the previous results. So this is the question generally comes into your mind, right? So now let us discuss about how we are going to round off the number. For example, if I want to express the result with the required number of significant figures or with the required number of digits after the decimal points when the mathematical operations are carried out, how to remove the last digit? Generally that is called as rounding off numbers. Okay, there are some rules to be followed for rounding off the numbers. What are the rules that we are going to follow in order to round off the numbers? So rounding off numbers, first rule is, for example, if the rightmost digit to be removed, generally which digit we are going to remove? We are going to remove the last digit, that is the rightmost digit. Okay. So if the rightmost digit to be removed is more than 5, if it is more than 5, for example, the rightmost digit x value which is to be removed is greater than 5, if it is greater than 5, if it is more than 5, what we have to do? Then the preceding number means before number. Okay, preceding number should be increased by 1. What we have to do? Whenever when we are removing the last digit, the rightmost digit that to be removed, if it is greater than 5 means it can be 6, 7, 8 or 9. So here the x values can be, it can be 6 or it can be 7 or it can be 8 or it can be 9. These numbers are greater than 5. So the rightmost digit to be removed, if it is 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, which is greater than 5, in that case what we have to do? Before these number, the number which we are removing, before that is number is called preceding number. That number should be increased by 1. It has to be increased by 1. If you see example, you can easily understand. For example, 1.386 I have to round off. So when we are going for rounding off, rightmost digit, which digit we remove generally? We remove the digit which is present at the rightmost, okay, the last digit. The last digit, what is it? It is 6. It is 6. So if the rightmost digit to be removed is more than 5, 6 is more than 5 or not? Yes, 6 is more than 5, 6 is greater than 5. So in that case what we have to do? Preceding number means the number before the number you have to delete. So here if you observe, what is the preceding number? That is 8. Before 6 what is there? It is 8. Okay. So here 8 is the preceding number. What is the 8? 8 is preceding number. So what I have to do? The preceding number should be increased by 1. I have to increase it by 1. So when I add it to 1 to 8, what it becomes? It becomes 9. So I can report the value as 1.39. 1.386 when I am supposed to express the result with the 3 significant figures. In that case I have to remove the last digit. So last digit to be removed is greater than 5. It is more than 5. When it is more than 5, look at the other number, before number, that is before digit, that is preceding number. Here it is 8. So the preceding number should be increased by 1. I have to increase it with 1. So 8 plus 1 it becomes 9. So what is the result then? If I am removing 6, automatically it becomes 3.89. 1.39. 1.39 we are going to get the value. For suppose I have to express this result. Okay, actually we got 1.386 as 1.39, but I have to report the result which has having only two significant figures. 1.39 has how many significant figures? It has 3 significant figures. But my result, I have to express the result in 2 significant figures. So in that case, what I have to do? I have to remove the last number. So if I am removing this last number 9 is greater than 5. So then what I have to do? I have to see the preceding number. What is preceding number here? 3 is the preceding number. 3 is the preceding number, the before number. Okay. So what I have to do? If I want to remove 9 from this one, what I have to do? The preceding number should be increased by 1. So automatically this number becomes 1.4. It becomes 1.4. In order to remove the 9, I have to increase the 3 with 1. So 3 plus 1, it becomes 4. So the result is 1.4. Result is 1.4. So this is what you have to follow. The rightmost digit to be removed is more than 5. The preceding number should be increased by 1. Okay. For suppose, if the rightmost digit, the last digit which is to be removed, if it is less than 5, what we have to do? The preceding number is not changed. We are not going to change the preceding number. We are not going to change the preceding number. So the preceding number should be kept as it is. No need to change it. When we don't change it, when the rightmost digit, the last digit to be removed, if it is less than 5. If it is less than 5, in that case we are not going to bother about the preceding number. We keep the preceding number as it is. No need to change it. For example, 4.334 I have to round off. I have to see this number has 4 significant figures, but I have to give the result with only 3 significant figures. In that case, what I have to do? I have to remove the last number. So what is the last number or what last digit present in it? It is 4. So what is 4? We know that 4 is less than 5. It is less than 5. Rightmost digit to be removed by is less than 5. So in that case, it will be maybe 2 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. The rightmost digit to be removed, if it is 1, 2 or 3 or 4, in that case, preceding number, what we have to do to the preceding number? We are not going to change the preceding number. We are going to keep it as it is. So I am keeping it as it is. What is the preceding number here? 3 is the preceding number. 3 is preceding number before 4, which is present 3. So 3 is taken as preceding number, before number. Okay, so I am removing 4 and 4 is less than 5. So I don't want to change, I don't want to alter the number. So I am writing it as 4.33 only. I am not changing the last digit. I am reporting it as 3 as it is. So it is 4.33 only. Okay. Now let us see. I have 4.33, but I have to express the number with the 2 digits only. I have to give the result which is having only 2 digits. So in that case, 2 significant figures. In that case, what I have to do? I have to remove the last digit. So if I want to remove the last digit, 3, no, we know that 3 is less than 5. So rightmost digit to be removed is less than 5. So there is no need to change the value or no need to change the preceding number. So preceding number remains as it is. So it becomes 4.3. Okay. So if the rightmost digit to be removed is greater than 5, we are increasing the preceding number by 1. If the rightmost digit to be removed is less than 5, in that case we are not changing the preceding number, we are keeping the preceding number as it is and we are not bothering about it, we are not changing the number at all. Okay. So this is how we are going to round off the number. For suppose, if the rightmost digit to be removed, the rightmost digit to be removed is exactly equal to 5, if it is 5, in that case what we have to do? Then in that case the preceding number is increased by 1 if it is odd. If the preceding number, before number, if it is odd, we will increase it by 1. Otherwise, if the preceding number is even, okay, if the preceding number is even, we are not going to change it. The same thing we are going to apply here also. Okay. When the rightmost digit to be removed, the lastmost digit to be removed, if it is exactly equal to 5, if it is 5, in that case, the preceding number should be increased by 1. If it is odd, the preceding number, if it is odd, if the preceding number is even, in that case we are not going to bother, we are not going to change it. Okay. For example, Once you see the example, you will come to know how the changing can be taking place. For example, I have a 6.35. Okay, so 6.35 I have to report the number with the two significant figures, but this has three significant figures. So last most digit to be removed is 5. It is exactly equal to 5. So what is the number that is present before it? It is 3. 3 is even or odd. Okay, here the number to be removed is exactly equal to 5 and the preceding number is 3, and we know that 3 is the preceding number. Okay, and moreover it is an odd number. Okay, 3 is an odd number, right? Since 3 is odd number, in that case what we have to do? When the preceding number is odd, in that case it has to be increased by 1. So we have to report the value as 6.4. So the same thing has happened. So 6.35 when we are going for rounding off, so removing this 5 means we have to look at the preceding number. It is odd, so I am increasing by 1. It becomes 6.4. Okay, right. Similarly, if we have 6.25, we have 6.25 and it has to be rounded off. In that case, again if you observe, 6.25 has three significant figures, but I have to give the result with the two significant figures only. So I have to remove the last digit. Last digit is exactly equal to 5. In that case, I have to look at the preceding number, before number. Before here 2 is the preceding number. So 2 is the preceding number and we know that 2 is an even number. 2 is an even number. So whenever we have a preceding number as even number, in that case, no need to change it. So we should give the result as it is, 6.2 only. So I am removing 5, I am giving the value as 6.25. So when 6.35 has rounded off, it becomes 6.4, but when 6.25 is rounded off, it becomes only 6.2. Okay, so here the last rightmost digit to be removed is exactly equal to 5. In that case, we have to look for the preceding numbers. So here the preceding number is 3, here the preceding number is 2. When we have odd number as a preceding number, the preceding number should be increased by 1. If the last preceding number is even number, in that case the preceding number should not be disturbed. It should be kept as it is without any change. Okay. So these are the rules which we follow in order to round off the numbers. Okay, so these things you have to keep it in mind when we are carrying out the mathematical operations on the numbers. Okay, in that case, whenever we carry out the addition, subtraction, multiplication or division, we have to keep all these things in mind. Okay, for example, if you take this number 314.000 has how many significant figures? 314.000 has how many significant figures? So here the zeros which are present after the decimal point, should be considered as significant figures. So 3 is a significant figure, 1 is a significant figure, 4 is also significant figures, all the zeros are significant figures. How many are present? So we have 6 significant figures in this particular number. Okay, in which of the following number all the zeros are significant? So here if you observe, the zeros are present before the first non-zero digit, so these are not considered. And here also the zeros are present before the first non-zero digit, so they are not considered. Here the zeros are present after the first non-zero digit, so the zeros are considered. And here also the zero which is present before the non-zero digit cannot be considered. So which of the number is all the zeros are significant? The third option, 20.000 is going to have all the zeros as significant figures. Students, I think you have enjoyed the today's class. You have learned how the significant figures can be considered and how we are going to round off the numbers based on the mathematical operation that we are going to carry out. Okay, we will see some more numericals on this particular topic in the next class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.